Patrick, you will have to mute your speakers and you will gonna ask, do unmute when you want to ask a question. So we are going with the very first question. Andrew Fernando.
Hi, Mickey. Just obviously the 135 all out on day one probably had the biggest impact on the match. To what do you put down that performance? And also, we saw them a lot better in the second innings in arguably tougher conditions. That's kind of inconsistency. What do you put down to?
Yeah, look, Andrew, I think in the first innings, and you rightly said it, first innings was very poor. It was an unacceptable batting performance. And I'm not one to ever look for excuses. It was like we were batting at the Wanderers and Centurion in terms of tempo. We hadn't changed our tempo to batting in the subcontinent, to coming back and batting in Sri Lanka, where it's all about patience. It's about trusting your technique. It's about trusting your game plan. It's about wearing the opposition down and grinding away. We got that in the second innings after we had a long, hard chat after our performance day one, and spoke about how we were going to make it better, and the guys responded very, very nicely in the second innings. But it was too late. Even if we get 220 in our first innings, we keep ourselves massively in the game. So that's where it was lost. That was disappointing, but we put it right in the second innings.
Amit, Wilson, you can ask.
Hi, Vicky. We spoke about batting and how we didn't bat well in the first innings and batted well in the second innings. But we think the spin attack on a very good spin wicket. Do you think Dilruwan and Waniju didn't bowl well and help out Lasith?
Yeah, look. I think we could say that, and sure, we probably weren't as consistent as we should have been. I think apart from Dilruwan, I think with Lasith and Wanadu, we've got to be a little bit patient. This was Lasith's eighth Test match. It's Wanadu's third Test match. It's his first in the subcontinent. So we've got to be a little bit patient. I think they're gold. I think they'll be very good. They've got to learn to be more consistent. 100% right. But I think we need to give them time. They're still very young in these conditions. So, I'll back them in 100% because I think they will just get better and better. But your point is right and your point is well made.
Mr. Aravinda, you can ask.
Hi, Mickey. Is Timur available for the second test?
Look, at this stage, unlikely, but we'll see over the next couple of days. It's the injury toll coming out of South Africa was massive. So he's probably unlikely, but we'll make a decision in the next day or two.
Rory, you can go with your question. Rory Dollar.
Hi, Mickey.
Hey, Rory.
Obviously, as Andrew said, that the first innings really scuppered things. But did you see in the second half of the game? Do you take optimism going into the second Test match? Do you see a few cracks in England that makes you think you can level this series 1-1?
Look, at this stage, Rory, it's for me, it feels like I've been in Sri Lanka a long time, but this is only my third series, so I'm finding out about our players under pressure. I'm finding out about players' structures and game plans in a Test series in the subcontinent for the first time. So it's the focus for me is very much firmly on our team, and I was very happy with what I saw on days 3 and 4. We can't give up a Test match like we did on day one again and expect to get a positive result. But the fight and the way the players adapted to the tempo, particularly with batting, they adapted to the tempo of batting in the subcontinent. They got their game plan spot on. So I take a lot of positivity out of days 3 and 4, but day 1 and 2 are unacceptable and can't happen again for us to move forward in these conditions.
Could you ask your question?
Mickey, we are using two all-rounders in our team as as a bowlers, but they haven't much experiences in
Yeah.
test bowling. What do you think about that? Isn't it affect to our strength of bowling?
Yeah, look, that's a good point. You know, we stuck between, and certainly for me, we're trying to develop a team, that can play in all conditions. So we used Dasun, I thought, fairly well in South Africa as very much as our fourth seamer, a batting all rounder, if you like. Wenindu's our spin bowling all rounder, and I think with Dhananjaya De Silva, when he comes back into the team, he kind of gives us that balance. So we were just searching just a little bit for that right balance, and that's something we'll have to look at. But again, I say, you know, these are young guys. They're young men finding their way in Test cricket. I think they're very talented. I think they're showing a lot of promise, and I think these guys we just need to give time to. You know, the more experienced guys haven't got time. The young players that we've identified, we're putting a hell of a lot of work into them every day to make them better and better. And these are the guys that I think are the best in the system and guys that we can carry forward. But overnight, they're not going to become that instant sensation. Wanindu's not going to be the bowler at the moment in Test cricket that he is in 2020 or white ball cricket, simply because he's still working out his game. He's still finding out how to bowl in Test cricket. He's still trying to realize the value of patience, the realize of stringing spells together. You know, the realization of setting batsmen up. So that's not going to happen overnight. But these guys have got an abundance of talent, and the only way they're going to get better is to keep playing them and keep playing them in pressure situations.
Mickey, my point is we used we didn't use Dasun as a bowler. Yeah.
Sorry?
We come back to David to get asked a question.
The obvious question, after 4 ducks, Kusal finally managed to get off, but he seems to be in a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Do you think he needs a break, or do you think he'll be persistent with for the second test and so on?
Look. I'll keep reaffirming. I think Kusal Mendes is a wonderful player. I think Kusal Mendes will score a lot of runs in the future for Sri Lanka. I'll make a decision over the next. He's been under pressure, of course he has. You know, when you haven't performed, and we spoke long and hard about him playing in this Test match. We thought coming back into local familiar conditions might just trigger it for him. So that's a discussion that we'll have in the next day or two. But you're right, he is under pressure. International batsmen, you know, when you're not scoring, are always under the pump, and I guess it's how you come out of that that's the key. So as a leadership group, we'll sit down and make that decision in the next day or two.
And Rafidel, you can go for your question. Andrew, you can ask.
Hi, sorry. Mickey, fair to say that Lahir Rahman has been shown a lot of faith by selectors over the years. What did you make of his performance, and what are the qualities that you see in him that you feel makes him an asset to the team, and also about his 102nd innings?
Yeah, look, Andrew. You know, I've heard all the rhetoric that's gone with Lahiri Tiramani. You know, but since I've worked with him, all I've seen is a player that works incredibly hard at his game. He's a player that's got a really good technique. I don't know what's gone before. I can only talk about what I've seen. I thought when we called him in, we took him to South Africa because we felt as a reserve batsman, he was a player that played fast bowling fairly well. I thought he played the quicks well at the Wanderers. We want him to turn those 30s into 100s. And he came out here and he proved his worth. You know, he's a very hard-working, likable team member. So to see him get 100 for me was really nice, and just rewards for a lot of effort that he's put in over the last couple of months with his batting. As I say, what's gone before, I don't know. And I said to every one of the players when I came in that it's a new book. We draw a line through what you've done in the past. It's what you're going to do going forward that matters to me. And all I've seen from Tiramani is a guy that's very dedicated, extremely hard at his game, has got a good defense, which is one of the qualities of Test match batting. And I was really, really happy to see him put it all together there in the second innings.
Rory Nolan, you can go for your question. Rory, you can ask. Yeah, Rory. You can ask the question.
Maybe just need a clarification for my previous question. I am talking about Tasun Chanaka. We brought him as a bowler. But we didn't use him much. And why didn't we bring a genuine bowler instead of him? And my second question is, how do you plan to develop Wanidu as a test bowler, and how will it affect to the performance of his T20 and ODIs?
Yeah, look, so to answer the first one with Dasan, our structure and game plan coming into this test match was because we only had 3 quick bowlers available for this test. Suranga Lakmal and Lahiru Kumara didn't have the workloads to be available. They are now available for test 2. They're ready to go. So we only had Isita, we had Dushi Chamira and Vishwa available for this test. Our thought process was very much around the conditions. We thought playing the 3 spinners was when we looked at the wicket, playing 3 spinners was going to be our best chance of getting 20 wickets, with using Isita as the quick bowler to angle it into the pads and to bowl wicket to wicket, which he did and did quite well. And we thought Dasan could be that second seamer as a guy that just held the game and went stump to stump with guys in front of the bat, just to give us our spinners a breather, as it were. You know, conditions were totally different to they were in South Africa. So our attacking options were our spin, whereas in South Africa our attacking options were our seam bowler. So that was a little bit around that game plan, particularly with Dasan having the ability to bat as well at 7 as an all-rounder. We thought it created a little bit of depth in our batting as well. Just around Wanadu, I think for Wanadu knows the pace he needs to bowl in white ball cricket. He knows when and how to use his googly. He's also, any leg spinner will tell you, they're aided by the fact that batsmen need to take them on in white ball cricket, which increases the risk for the batsmen, increases their risk of getting wickets. Whereas in Test cricket, it's about patience, it's about controlling the game, it's about working batsmen out, which might take 3 or 4 overs. So those are all the skills that Wanadu needs to get in Test cricket. But for sheer ability, he's as good as I've seen. From a quick bowler, from a leg spinner. Yeah, he certainly reminds me very much of Shadab Khan when Shadab Khan came on the scene, and we went through exactly the same process with Shadab. Was around him having to understand the importance of putting spells together. So it's a process with Wanadu. The natural talent he's got in abundance. We've just got to work a little bit on his game plans and the mental side of playing Test cricket.
Last question, Rafidel, you can go with that. You want to ask one question?
Yeah. Hi, Mickey. What do you feel about the senior batsmen? I think in the second innings they kind of put their hand up a bit, and Matthew played a good innings. What are you looking for from them in the second test?
I'm looking for a lot more of the same. I think we're looking for batsmen, particularly in the first innings, to go big. We need somebody to get a big score. We know the wickets out here are tough to start on. Once you get in, you've got to capitalise, just like Joe Root did for England, which was the difference in the game, really. We need them to go on. I thought Angelo Matthews' innings yesterday was just superb in these conditions. I thought the way he applied himself, the tempo of his innings, his game plans. I just thought that all our young batsmen just needed to watch the way he went about his business to know how to bat on a turning wicket. So hopefully that's lessons learned. We want those batsmen to go big. We want hundreds. Lahiru Tiramani got one for us in this test. We got 60s out of KJP and 60s out of Angelo. We need those guys now to go big and to get some big scores.
So with that, we are wrapping up